And sixth graders, if you're watching this screencast, it is Thursday, December 17th, and you're either watching it fresh on Thursday or you've been absent, but it's going to be a very quick lesson in Photoshop in how to work with a couple more transformations in Photoshop with layers, and also a really sweet cloning technique. So what I've done is I've opened up a brand new file that's in the same size as what we've been working in, either an 800 by 600 or a 640 by 480, that would be fine. And as you can see in my background, I filled it with gray for now. And then through the magic of editing, what we'd like you to do is to make a brand new layer and call it, don't call it layer one, call it, I'm going to call mine Star Wars figure. In the, it is a big day, Star Wars, the Force reawakens or whatever. That the new one's coming out today, so I thought in that spirit we'd make kind of a Star Wars based screencast. Anyhow, what I want you to do is to go out and find a picture of your favorite Star Wars character, okay? And in a new layer, I'd like you to try to draw them. And through the magic of editing here, I'm going to pause this screencast and then come back to it so you can see what my picture looks like. And then we're going to show you what we can do with it. Just make sure when you do this that you are painting it in its own layer, okay? So we're going to pause this screencast for now. And then when you come back, at least when you see it again, my figure will be done. All right, be back in a second. And I'm back. And that's right, folks. I drew Yoda. I drew Yoda in about 2 minutes, so don't judge me. I did my best. So if you're laughing to yourself, you probably should be, because I'm not the best Yoda artist on the planet here. Anyhow, what I want you to do with your figure now is to take your move tool like I did. V is your shortcut, and you get these nice handles around it, the bounding box as they call it. And we'd like to resize your Star Wars figure so it's a little bit smaller, maybe about yay big. And what we wanted to teach you how to do in Photoshop Elements was a couple different things. When you're working with an object like this, we've talked about transforming it. We talked about scaling it like I just did, but let's practice rotating it, okay? And when you rotate, of course I showed you this, if you put your pointer outside of a corner handle and you start turning clockwise or counterclockwise, notice up here, it gives you a degree measurement. So what I wanted to point out was you could kind of eyeball this and do it to whatever degree measurement you want, or if you want it more precise, you can go up and change this to 45 degrees, for example. Well, let's try that and see how he ends up, okay? Or you could maybe try it 90, all right, or even go crazy and say 180, and now Yoda's going to be upside down. So it affects it when you hit return. Okay, so I kind of wanted to point that out. I'm going to bring him back to 0 because I do want him the way I started. Okay, other transformations I haven't talked about. Okay, in addition to doing those simple rotations like that, you can take Yoda, and if you grab a side handle, you can actually flip him. Okay, in fact, let's do this. Let's grab a side handle to whoever you chose to draw. Okay, and take a side handle, and as you drag it to the right, notice how he's kind of reversed here. He's reflected. And when you hit return, you get it to accept it. So very straightforward transformation. That's called a flip. Okay, and you can flip one vertically too. I mean, kind of like we did with the rotation, but this is called a flip. If you grab the top and you drag down this way, now you have upside down Yoda. Okay, don't want that, but now you know two other types of transformations. You know the flip, either side to side or vertically, okay? And then you know the rotation by the set number of degrees. The other thing I wanted to teach you in this short little screencast is how to clone something, how to make another layer looks exactly like it. On your keyboard, now keep your move tool selected. What you're going to do is hold down the Option key. And when you hold down, you get a symbol on your mouse that it indicates that you're going to be making a copy, and that's exactly what it does. If you keep the Option key down and you drag your mouse, you'll get an additional copy. And look over here, it says Star Wars figure copy. So with very little effort, you can make a copy of your figure here. Okay, The other thing I want to point out is if you want to keep your copy perfectly straight as you do it, you hold Option and then add the Shift key. And notice when I drag sideways, if I can coordinate myself here, it stays perfectly straight. So I did that with Option and Shift. Okay, so Option to review gives you a copy as you drag it. Okay, Option Shift keeps it perfectly horizontal or vertical. So without a lot of effort, you could take and make yourself an army of Star Wars figures. Okay, so just a little bit of practice here at executing that. And that's what I wanted to teach you today. All right, so that's your Photoshop lesson. Now, what I want you to do, you don't need to save this file, by the way. I can close the file without saving it, but I wanted to get to your assignment. Okay, your assignment is the directions for it on my lesson plan page. Okay, so if I jump out to lesson plans really quick here, you'll see the assignment, and I'm going to read it briefly with you so you understand what you're doing because it is kind of different than what you've done before. It says begin layer shapes assignment. Okay, the directions say, using the skills you've learned, make the file look like the figure below. This should be done by using only the move tool and the bucket tool. Okay, what I've done is I've created a file that you're going to convert into this one. So it's not like you have to create these little shapes in here. They're already done for you. In fact, if you noticed, it's on your desktop. It's called Layer Shapes. So what you have to do is double click that file on your desktop called Layer Shapes, and you'll see the same shapes that you see in my directions. Okay, you have to take this Photoshop file called Layer Shapes and make it into the one that you see on the assignment page right there. And you're going to be using a series of techniques that I just taught you. You're going to be cloning a layer so you have more than one of these rectangles. Okay, you'll be transforming a layer. Layers that you don't need, you'll be trashing. Like I don't see that red bridge in the final product. So you're getting kind of all kinds of good things in this. Okay, and then when you're finished with the layer shapes, I believe it's a file that's locked. So instead of just going to File, Save, okay, if that doesn't work, then go to File, Save As, and just give it a separate name. Okay, call it Layer Shapes 2. But either way, you should have a copy of it when you're finished so that I can check it tomorrow. Okay, adios, have fun, and may the force be with you.